Hi guys, it's Greg and Janet with Strange RV Tours. Today we're in McKinney, Texas, which is kind of North Texas. And we're here because of Jesse James and Frank James. Let me turn this camera around, let you see this house here. And Janet's got lots of information on this place.
Oh my goodness, y'all. This place is on West Virginia Street, 616 West Virginia in McKinney. It's built in the mid 1800s, and it was built by Captain Francis Marion Hill, or Tuck Hill actually is what they called him. And this house has a lot of history. All right, this is where Jesse James and Frank James would actually hide out, right up there in the attic. All right, this house is 5 rooms downstairs, 2 rooms upstairs, and an attic, right? Okay, and Tuck Hill was part of the Quantrill Rangers. Okay, Jesse James, part of the Quantrill Rangers. They were up in Missouri, and they started up in 1862 to 1864, but they would come down here. All right, and Tuck Hill actually was their second cousin, so they were all involved together. Okay, there's a lot more to this, you guys. This is a neat house, though. William Clark Quantrill from Missouri had Jesse James and Frank James involved, and they'd come down here and stay with Albert Groves, which is another big Quantrill Ranger guy. Okay, now this is one of the main hideouts for Jesse James and Frank James, and Albert Groves' place was also a big hideout. That house is long gone, but it's north of town, not too far, but they were on 380 and 75. That's where the Groves house was. That's long gone, but that was a big to do for the Rangers. A lot went on there. The connection between Hill and Albert Groves, Hill married one of Albert Groves' daughters, and Wood Hill, the brother, also married one of the daughters. So Jesse James and Frank James hid out over here and at the other place up north when the authorities were coming. And this place, amazing. Alright, this house with the 5 rooms downstairs, they used to have closets and cabinets like on Watts, and they said they kept all the money and all the guns by the fireplace downstairs, and then Jesse James and Frank would hide in the attic upstairs. But there's numerous times, even extended times, they had to hang out here and hide from the authorities. From what I understand, about 30% of the house was gutted, and the rest was all original. But they said the town wouldn't have been the same without this home. There used to be a picket fence on the front in the 1900s. That's long gone, apparently. This is a very historic area, and downtown is just a few blocks away. So I really want to get closer, but I don't want to be trespassing. Okay, Greg's got more to tell you about all of this.
Yeah, one little anecdote about Jesse and Frank being here in McKinney during that time period. When they were staying over at the Graves house, Frank wanted to go to Denton, Texas. He wanted to ride up there and hang out up there for a while. So somehow the federal authorities got a hold of this information and formed a posse. Now, Frank and Jesse were really well liked in the McKinney area, and the town really did like them. So when the federal authorities formed this posse to go after Frank, most of the people in the posse knew Frank and were friends with Frank. And somewhere outside of town on the way to Denton, there was a ridge, and Frank was riding along the top of the ridge when he realized, when he looked behind him, that there was a posse coming after him. And they were riding hard. They were coming quick. So Frank turned his horse towards the posse and came up over the top of the ridge, back down towards the posse. And when the federal authorities approached him, they asked him, "Have you seen anybody riding hard in the opposite direction?" And Frank said, "Matter of fact, I have. The guy was riding really hard, took off this way up here." And so the federal authorities didn't realize it was Frank. Even though most of the people in the posse did know it was Frank, they protected him, and the federal authorities, along with the posse, took off after the ghost. And Frank rode back here to McKinney, back to the Graves house, made it safely. So that's how well liked Jesse and Frank were in this area. All right, folks, well, we hope you enjoyed this video about Frank and Jesse James being in McKinney, Texas. One thing I might add, I lived in this area for 25 years and never knew that Frank and Jesse James had ever visited here. So if you live in a small town, you might check your local historical museum, find out what happened in your town, because you never know where incredible history occurred. Until next time, guys, take it easy. We'll talk at you later.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fit your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on the air.